another community-produced program here on Oshkosh Channel 10.
Fans, welcome to Packer Talk with Green Show. The show is brought to you by Ratchet Desert Pizza on the corner of Merritt and Bowen, the best pizza in town, and got cold beer down there too, and Audio Plus on the East Friends Road over there. And thank you very much, gentlemen, for your support. With my special guest, Russell Pettibone, we're going to talk about Russ, the disappointing loss in the Metrodome, the so-called jinx or no jinx or whatever you want to call it. We lost the division game on the road. We're 3-1. They're in first place now. We got to between now and the end of the season, Russ, we got to gain the lead back and win the division. But we'll look at the top board here first. You know, we take pride in running the ball and using the clock up. Well, this week, the Minnesota Vikings put our defense on the field 38 minutes. They doubled up, more than doubled our first down output. They had 18. They just had a lot of offense, 350 yards. And we only had 220. Usually it's the other way around. Too many mental mistakes by us offensively and defensively. We had a few big plays. BB's big touchdown reception. Kuntz is interception, big play. Reggie's, whatever that was, oops, a fumble thing and lateral stuff, whatever. And Favre was beat up. 7 sacks allowed by the offensive line. He was looking up at the ceiling of the Metrodome, the Baggy Dome, all day. And the jinx, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, we're 3-1. And over there, Warren Moon, he's going on 40 years old, Russ. He played really tough, nice passing all day. And their defense was relentless on our offensive line. A couple of Packers did really well. Ezra Turola and Brady did pretty good. And they did their homework on our young offensive line, and they come out with a 4-0 record. We're 3-1. So what do you want to start talking about first?
Well, probably what everybody is saying, the offensive line just back on their heels the whole game. He had like 2.5 seconds, 2.8, 3-point. He didn't have a lot of time because they were coming, they just pinned their ears back and went at him, you know. And the thing that I have a problem with Holmgren's play calling sometimes is not running that ball more. Right. You know, you were running it pretty good, and then suddenly he goes right to that pass. And, you know, I mean, that really keeps him off guard when he's passing like that. But, you know.
Go ahead, excuse me.
Well, when he runs, you know, he can mix it up, you know.
We've been running approximately 145 yards a game the first 3 games. And this week's past Sunday, we only had 60 yards of running.
Yeah.
And that goes in to tell you, maybe you put on a point, maybe they should stick with the run.
Well,
stick with it. Some teams stick with it and stick with it and stick with it, and eventually maybe that run will break loose, and then we'll be able to control the clock.
Sure. I mean,
instead of that passing stuff.
Well, he gets away from it so fast, it seems sometimes that you know, if the run doesn't work, bang, he's right going up over the top. You know, I mean, there were a couple of calls there where I just thought, you know, what are you doing? But, you know, the thing is, psychologically, I think they got rattled, too. I think there was a lot of talking down there and jawing at each other, and the Packers, you know, didn't really act professionally and let it get to them. And, you know, it's the old thing. They're playing in Minnesota, they're playing on the carpet, and they're playing on the road, and that's the thing they got to get over if they're going to go anywhere this year. You know,
our offensive line, you said our offensive line is what age, approximately?
About 24, 25 years old.
So it's really, well, pretty
besides
young.
Winners,
besides Winners, Kenny Ruckers, and guys like that, but basically it's a pretty young offensive line.
Yeah, and they've been doing a great job, too.
Yeah, you know, the offensive line of any football team is the most important unit on the squad taking the gelling, the cohesiveness, and the working together, and picking up, helping each other out.
Yeah.
That takes time, maybe more than time than the 3 games we played, 2 at home and we played Tampa Bay. And Minnesota is definitely not at Tampa Bay.
No, no. You know, and the thing is, you can't get too high and too low. I mean, they blew out the first 3 opponents, you know, and I think Holmgren keeps them at a real even level. You know, you can't get down too much, you can't get too high, you know, and you come in here and you just they didn't play a good game. It was really sloppy.
It was.
You know, this won't affect them because, like they say, it's a long season. I mean, you got a lot of games to go, and I don't see Minnesota being there. I see the Pack being on top at the end, but you know, you got to go on the road again. You got to play on the carpet again.
Yes, we do.
You know,
Seattle 3 o'clock game, of course, Sunday out in Emerald City, where Eugene Robinson played most of his career out there, and maybe Eugene will be able to have a little insight on some of the doings inside the Kingdom up there on the turf, and maybe he'll be able to give Brett an insight on how to play the ball.
Well, especially on that carpet. I mean, you know, you look at Kelly, he tripped on practice. He tore his hamstring. Marino last night broke his ankle.
Open season?
Yeah, well, he's out for 3 or 4.
Well, he's indefinitely, I guess, so I don't know.
Yeah, so but it's just that stupid, you know, concrete is really what it is with a little bit of carpet over it. You know, it's terrible. But you got to go with it. You got to play. You know,
like mentally, you're talking about the mental mistakes. Now, that one pass to Brooks, what was it, about a 60-yard, 50-some yarder?
Yeah.
And that so-called about ticky-tacky call,
that
was, holding thing.
Yeah, that was no hold. You know, you could call that on an offensive lineman all the time.
Every play.
You know, almost every time. I mean, you know, Gary Brown didn't have a very good game, but, you know, you can't put the whole load on him. I mean, them horses up front just didn't do it.
Do you think that do you think that we should use maybe our 2 tight ends all the time for blocking purposes? Period. Because Brett Favre, you know, I think NFL knows has one of the strongest arms in the NFL, not the strongest. And if you give him some time, he will find the seam. He will find a receiver out there. So why didn't coach use 2 tight ends all day just for blocking purposes? Period. If he's going to try to, if he's going to have to pass like he does.
That's a good question. Tight ends didn't catch any balls.
No.
You know, because the plays for the tight ends take so long to develop. But I think they were blitzing so much that they had to help out everybody else. They had to help everybody else out because they wanted to give Brown help. But, you know, he ended up going one-on-one, and he got spanked. A couple
of times that
like really got beat.
Miscommunications. You get that one blitz, that number 91 for the Vikings. He just
broke down.
Just broke down communication.
You know, and you see psychologically once you start rocking backwards, you know, they'll just take it to you, especially on their home field where, you know, Holmgren hasn't won yet. He's what, 0-5.
Yes.
You know.
Well, in fact, I think he's only 4-19 on the turf and in the home.
Not good at all.
He doesn't fare well at all in domes and on that turf stuff. So.
Right. But those few big plays though, that was great to see. Beebe and Coons going, and Reggie trying to be a running back for about a second or so.
Yeah, you think about that, was pretty funny about Reggie.
Falling down and he flips it.
I think Leroy Butler was probably the guy who I think he was trying to hoist it to. But there was purple jerseys all over the ball. And we're very fortunate that we picked it back up.
Yeah, got it back, yeah.
We're talking about, I'm going to bring up a point about, okay, we had about 9 minutes and some seconds left in the game. We had the ball. Why couldn't we have gotten some first downs? I think, first downs are very, very important. You run the clock, of course, and you maintain the ball. If we would have got a few first downs in the last 9 minutes and some seconds, I think that would have made a different ball game. We were ahead 21-17, and that's the most critical. That drive at the 9-minute mark was the most critical time of the game.
Right,
and it didn't work out. I mean, we just collapsed totally offensively, and we gave the ball back to them, and they scored a touchdown.
And they scored it. That's when that Smith ran it, where Reggie was out that one play. He was out. But you know, you got to make first downs, and it's all gelling, and you know, you got to put it all together. And they've played great ball. You know, they're their hottest team up until this week.
You know, well, in fact, we're first. Brett Favre is still the number 1 ranked quarterback in the NFL, and we are the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL yet. Yeah, believe it or not.
Number 1 ranked defense,
Yes.
I know offense we fell from 1st to 7th, but you know that it all varies from week to week.
Yeah.
You know,
got to stay, like you said, consistent.
Yeah.
Level-headed and consistent throughout the long season, and you know, we got a very good football team up here. I think the Packers do have one of the best all-around football teams in the NFL. Special teams, offensively and defensively. And if we just stay, we're bringing up a point about being coach smart. Maybe sometimes you look at Coach Holmgren's play calling, you and me being armchair quarterbacks, Russ, we would think something different or do something different, but we don't know what it's like being in the action over there on the field. But armchair quarterbacks think that sometimes coaches do something different. So
yeah, well, it's just like I thought they should have probably blitzed more. The one blitz that Butler did, you know, knocked them for a loop, you know, and you get Moon out of that ball game, and that's what I was hoping. You knock him out of that ball game, they're hurting. You know, even though that second stringer, Brad Johnson, yeah, he's done pretty well, but you know, I don't think Moon will go a whole season, just like Marino and Young. You know, they get a few years on them, and they're done.
Maybe it's a Bud Grant jinx. I mean, a jinx over there, the Bud Grant jinx over there.
Oh, it seems something. I mean, they wanted that. I know Holmgren really wanted this game.
Well, you know, it seems like we have tough, Russ. We have tough times in Minnesota, Detroit, and down in Cowpies.
Yeah.
Them three stadiums on the road give the Green Bay Pack organization and players and coaches fits.
Yeah.
You can't figure it out.
You can have the best game plan in the world, and suddenly you're down, and you got to throw it out the door, and you know, go for the pass. You got to score. You got to score if they get up on you.
You brought it up a while ago about maintaining the ground game. I mean, we were only it was a close game, so we could have surely maintained the effort of trying to run the ball.
I know.
We were not out of that ball game at all.
Just keep pounding that ball.
We could have stayed in a framework of running the ball and trying to be effective running the ball and using the clock. But it seems like coach got away from it and it's pass.
Yeah, just hammer it.
And the defensive line were in Brett Favre's face.
They pin their ears back and they come at him. You know.
And
you can't. I don't understand that. But like you say, you know, you sit there at home and you say, well, why didn't you do that? You know, you don't know the whole thing going on. I mean, they're playing good, and you know,
bounce back.
It's a loss, but you got to move on. Yeah. It might be a blessing in disguise. You know, they were penciled in for the Super Bowl already.
Maybe like that Colt game, the preseason thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is someone bring it back to earth.
Wake up call.
Another wake up call. Well, let's do it that way. Let's win 3, maybe win 3 or 4, lose 1, win 3 or 4, lose 1. Maybe that'll be the thing of the season now for the Packers, and now we'll go and win 3 or 4 in a row, and then we'll lose 1, so to speak. I picked them to be 13-3, so they got the toughest schedule.
Toughest schedule in the.
How do they figure out that the Dallas Cowboys get the 15th in the middle of the pack, so to speak, schedule, and we get the toughest?
Yeah, and why do we always have to go down there too?
And they're the world champions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where they get this.
Well, I don't know who sets it up. You know, you must have some people somewhere just, you know, throwing darts at how this is going to be, because it doesn't make sense. We always got to go down to Dallas. They never come up here.
They played up here once. In 1989, they played up here, and they played down in Milwaukee once. So 2 times since '67 or whatever it was. They played up in Wisconsin.
Well, the way they're going, they're not even going to make the playoffs.
I love it. Right. Yeah, the Cowboys ain't going to make the playoffs. They're 1-3. They're going to go to Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia Ravens expect their coach is going to kick their butts. 1-4. All right. So, but anyway, we talked about, like 7 sacks. The offensive line only allowed 3 sacks, 1 sack a game. The last 3. Now he had 7 in 1 game.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bode well for offensive line.
No.
Maybe, Tom Lovato, our offensive line coach, and Coach Holmgren will have to come up with some sort of a scheme.
Well, they're saying
to avoid this defensive rush on Brett Favre.
Well,
although they're being young studs up in line, young, inexperienced guys, so to speak.
Yeah, and you might have a change this week with Gary Brown and having Michaels at number 1 pick.
John Michaels, yes.
Coming in there, but that left tackle, it's a blind side. You got to have help. If nothing else, you got to have help. You got to keep a tight end.
Back in on that side.
I mean, the tight ends didn't catch any balls. That would stop that so fast, just over the middle, a real quick one.
You think that, how many times, I don't exactly remember, how many times did he roll out?
Well, he scrambled a couple of times, but I don't think they had any play calls that specifically went, let's just go to the right and go. Yeah, because he's so dangerous.
Why wasn't some of that in the game plan?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of questions there that, just talking to different people, that they're saying the same thing. I mean, who's calling those plays? Is it Sherman Lewis up top?
Or
and then,
Blake?
Yeah. And then,
they advise each other back and forth. I would imagine. I don't think just one guy says do this or do that. I would think that's why they had the headphones on. They talk back and forth. Which play do you think is against this defensive setup?
Yeah.
But the Minnesota Vikings they seem to devise a defensive play that sort of counter our offensive scheme, and it worked effectively for them this
Yeah,
Sunday.
constantly.
No matter what it was.
Yeah. It was an exciting game, though, I will say that. You know, it was a knuckle-biter. I mean,
No injuries.
No, thank God.
No injuries.
Yeah.
That's what Coach Mike said,
Yeah.
that no injuries. So
Yeah.
now maybe this week Derek Mays will be back.
Right, I think so.
So that'll be back, and I don't know
Yeah.
who else is really out for a while. Who else is out? I think that's basically it.
Lindsey Knapp,
Lindsey Knapp.
Kuberski.
Yeah,
he's,
Bob
you know,
Kuberski.
but no major. You know, they're healthy. That's the main thing.
Healthy and talented, and we're better than
Yeah.
we're a better team than when we showed up on Sunday.
I will say you got to give Minnesota credit, especially Moon. You give that guy time to pass. I mean, he was right on the money for a lot of them passes. I mean, he's a good quarterback even at 40.
And they got good receivers, Jake Reed and Chris Carter.
Yeah.
And
they'll be the team that'll give us the most problems.
yes.
You know, we're looking at the other ones. Chicago's stumbling. Detroit's not bad.
And
You
they
know,
got Herman
Tampa
Moore
Bay.
and Barry Sanders, of course, and
Yeah.
Scott Mitchell, left-handed quarterback.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay
Yeah.
shouldn't be no problem, but the
Yeah.
Vikings and the Lions will be our two toughest competition.
that'll be. You know, and we got a tough schedule. It's just these road games. That's just a monkey that you got to get off your back.
Remember, all Super Bowl team contenders, like the 49ers of the past and the Cowpies, they win on the road. They win in all kinds of conditions.
Hostile
turf,
environment, yeah.
Hostile environments of all sorts, on grass, on turf, and whatever it is, they win on the road. And that's what the Green Bay Packers have to do, you Packer fans, is to win on the road in hostile environments. Although, be it, we had about 25,000 cheeseheads over in the Metrodome, the baggy land, we still have to win on the road if we're going to be one of those so-called Super Bowl-bound teams. And Coach Mike knows that, and the players know that, so I think they're going to have to step up starting this week. They go to Seattle this week, 3 o'clock game Sunday. I don't know that much about Seattle. They got Chris Warren, I think, running back, and they have Joey Galloway, and they have a Blades out there with his, whatever he had his problem a while ago. But they, Erickson from Miami coaches out there, so you can't take anybody lightly. We got a turf dome game again. One of our problems, and we have to go out there, Russ, and come out to win. I don't care. It's a 1-point win. I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. In fact, when we had the lead 21-17 Sunday, I said, okay, let's lose ugly. The last 8 or 9 minutes when it's left, let's put the ball back and forth a couple times, and then they do a couple things and they don't work and we don't work. Well, let's come out with an ugly win, and we came out with an ugly loss.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't. And, you know, you just got to move on. I mean, like Coach says, he gets on them when they win more than he does when they lose because he knows they're professionals and they'll get themselves up for this, you know. And I think we'll take care of Seattle pretty, you know, I think we'll beat them. I don't know how much, but I think we will because this team is on a express, you know, they know what they got to do.
They got a very good, talented, laden team up here.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know,
they're a lot better than they were last year, especially through the middle there with Santana and Big Gilbert healthy. You can't run on them up the middle. And the linebackers are so fast. You know,
they're doing a very good job.
Yeah.
Wayne Simmons had a very good game.
Yeah, he was the best player out there. I thought
he was
was
flipping these guys around
yeah.
and stuff. And George Kuntz is very consistent.
Yeah.
And Brian Williams, a young guy, is very speedy and very fast and quick to the ball. So our front seven are doing a job, but they had lapses this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Russ.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
some lapses this past Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think the lapses come in
Yeah.
sometimes coaching lapses too. You know, like we had said before, only one blitz.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
You know, coach does rely on our front seven, just basic push, and the linebackers fill up the hole and keep everything inside. But blitzes do work. In Minnesota, I don't know how many they must have done.
Well, I don't know what Fritz was thinking about. You know, he did it once. Why didn't they do it more times?
And the one time he did it, he caused a fumble.
Yeah. You know, and you look at Robinson, he was a step shy on a couple of those long ones, so he was out of position, you know, and they picked that secondary apart, you know, which you can do. You get enough time, almost any NFL quarterback can do that, you know. But they just got to move on. That's the biggest thing. And you know, you got Seattle, and then who's after Seattle?
The Bears.
The Bears.
The
Okay.
Bears.
The Bears.
So we got
okay.
that turf dome thing is I don't know. Last year it was like I don't know how many games before New Orleans last year. We went down to New Orleans. We put a good stamp on approval of winning it. We come out of New Orleans with a win on the Turf Dome.
All right.
And now this year again, we started with the Minnesota thing, the Turf Dome thing. We come out, now we got another one out there, Turf Dome thing. So they have to get this jinx or this monkey off their back with this Turf Dome stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sooner or later, the good team, the Green Bay Packers, are going to have to come out with this monkey off their back and come out and start winning on the road in these turf games.
Well, Joe Theismann said, you know, the Packers are a great team, but they've got 3 things to do, and that's to win on the road, to win on the carpet, and to win, you know, consistently, really hammer the opponent, you know, which, you know, it's hard to do.
Yes. NFL is tough to win week by week.
Yeah, yeah, it's really, it's you know, it's a
they're
job.
All professionals, and they're all just as good as the others, pretty much, and it's mental. That brings up football players are pretty much even. You know, Reggie White's his size, and you got a guy offensive tackle on the other side, pretty much the same size, give or take a little bit. So it's all mental.
Yeah,
and
it gets at that level, no matter what it is, what sport. You know, it's mental.
Mental attitude, and I wanna beat you up, or so to speak. I'm gonna win this battle between us consistently throughout the trenches, throughout the day.
Sure.
And
but they got to play a whole game. You know, you look at that time of possession. I mean, they had 16 minutes.
Well, 18 more minutes. I mean, 16 more minutes.
16 more. You know, and that was just the opposite.
It's a whole quarter. It's a whole quarter.
Yeah, and it was just what we were doing for the first 3 games. We had it so much longer, you know.
That's probably 20 plays.
Yeah.
20 plays somewhere in there.
Yeah. But, you know, 2 things just stand out to me was that offensive line and that why not run that ball more? And blitzing and doing different, doing different things up on defense, you know. But like you say, you're not there. I mean, you got to support the team. It's a long season.
Yeah.
It's a long season, you know, and then you got the playoffs. I mean, so, you know, thank God nobody was hurt, because any time you play on that crap, you know, that's the first thing I think that somebody's going to get a knee blowing out.
Nobody got it this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we had 5 games on the turf. We got 1 down, 4 to go. Hopefully we'll stay healthy on these turf games.
Oh yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. But they got a 1-game lead on us, and you know.
We'll make it up. We got 12 games. We both got 12 games left. We got to buy in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And,
where do they play then?
They go to the Giants. Dave Brown and the Giants beat there was a 0-3 against 0-3 in the Super Bowl in New York against New York. I don't know who had the home team. I don't know. But
who cares?
Yeah, the Giants beat the Jets. Dave Brown, a young quarterback, and they got some talent out there they're home, and they're going to beat the Vikings this week. We're going to come out with a win Sunday. We'll know, because the Vikings, I would imagine, will be a noon game, I would imagine, and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll know when we play where we stand, and that brings up another point. Okay, we'll know by 3 o'clock, Russ, or pretty much by our kickoff time, where we stand and whether we're going to be tied, a chance with a win tie, or stay a game back. So I think that would be more incentive
to really go out
and say, okay, now let's bust our butts, so to speak. Let's come out with a win. We'll be tied. We'll be 4-1. Then we start from 0-0, and then we can start climbing the ladder up to the division title again.
Yeah, I think that's the way they're approaching this.
Game by game, like you said, it's long.
One game at a time. You know, Giants got a young team. I mean, I got them picked to beat the Vikings.
So me too.
You know, I just Minnesota's good at home, but you know, on the road they're not that good.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, but we got to go out to Seattle. That's the main thing.
Take care of ourselves.
Yeah, you can't worry about what anybody else does.
No, I don't want to worry about anybody else. It's nice to get a help along the line.
Yeah.
You know, like the Cowpies losing, the Bears losing, and stuff like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
But the team itself cannot worry about whether the Giants win or whoever wins.
Right.
Don't worry about them.
Right.
Their squad themselves winning and staying healthy, come out with a win.
You got how many teams undefeated now? You got
5.
Carolina and
Minnesota. There's 5.
5. Is there 5 or 4? There's Carolina. There's Minnesota. There's Indianapolis. And there's
nobody out. There's nobody on the NFC West. Anybody on the Kansas City?
Kansas City.
I think there's only 4. Yes.
4.
And we play Kansas City later on down here, but that's another story in itself. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions on the game this week? Then before we'll say hi to somebody.
I'm going to say probably Green Bay will beat them. I'd say 30-14. 30-14.
very important. I really haven't thought about it, but I think I might go on the same line as you. But I'm going to say 30-21. We'll just the game last week was 30-21 in our deficit. This week we're going to turn around. We're going to beat Seattle Seagulls. 30-21. And Russ, I want to say hi to your dad, Russell Pettibone Sr., and Jordy Youngworth. And Jordy, you're going to come down and do my show? You and Russ, baby. Come on down. We'll have a Coke. So I know, Russ, say hi to any of your co-workers out there if you want.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
You work at Bemis, correct?
Yeah.
On the north side of town?
Yeah.
North Plain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Packer fans out there by you?
Oh, yeah, they're all Packer fans.
How about that dollar bill?
Dollar Bill, yeah.
He's a pessimist, ain't he?
Well, he knows his football.
If he can make money on him, he'll bet on him.
Right, that's basically it. If there's a dollar to be made, dollar will bet.
Dollar bet on it. So anyway,
yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the year, I didn't really want to come to too many shows on a down note, and I don't believe that I'm going to come to too many shows on a down note. 15-1 is still a very good possibility because we have a very good team, but highly unlikely. So let's take one game at a time, Russ. Win this game at Seattle, 3 o'clock game. Be 4-1. The Vikings are going to lose to the New York Giants out east. I don't know who the Bears play. I can't remember who they play. They're going to lose. The Bears.
Oakland. They play Oakland. Yeah.
Oakland. The Bears are going to be 1-4, and the Cowpies are going to Philadelphia. Coach Ray. And all you guys out there, please come out with the win. The Cowpies will be 1-4. They're going to be out of it. And maybe everybody wants the Cowpies to be up here. I don't know if I'd rather have the Cowpies up here sometime in January, Russ, or have the Cowpies out of the playoffs. I guess it's a horse apiece. But either way, I'll be happy. Bring them up here. We'll beat them up here or out of the playoffs. I'll feel happy too.
Oh, I hope they're sitting at home watching it on TV.
Yeah,
is what I hope.
But anyway, I hope you guys like the show. Going pretty good so far. We're 3-1. We got to hold on to mistakes, the big plays. We had a couple this past week. Our defense has to pick up a little bit, has to be more aggressive, do more, maybe a little blitzing like you said, confuse the offensive line a little bit, and their quarterback. I'm trying to think of their quarterback is
Rick Meir.
Rick Meir. I don't know if he's hurt from Notre Dame, right? Correct? He's from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Big kid out there. He had a couple. He's tough. He had his rookie year was pretty good. Their defense, they have.
Blades and
that guy in the middle.
Yeah, that defensive tackle. What is his name? He's been all pro.
He's very good. So they got. The NFL's made up. Basically, everybody in the NFL can play this football game. Like we discussed before, it's a mental game, and we have to be mentally be prepared, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. To go out to Seattle, come back with a Turf Dome win, be 4-1. And Minnesota's going to lose. They'll be 4-1. We'll start from scratch. We'll be 0-0 going to the Bears. And I hope, we talk about game plans and coaching mistakes and coaching geniuses and stuff. I hope Coach Holmgren and Ray Rhodes and Fritz Shermer, the big shots that do it, are coaching up there, come away with a great game plan this Sunday and get back to where they've been the first 3 weeks this season, dominating this team, and the true leadership on this team, the true talent on this team. And everything else on this team comes together, and we come on there with a win.
Yeah, and I think we will too, because if they put it all together, I don't see us losing. We got the MVP, of the league, and you give him enough time, and you let him, especially if he scrambles, if he starts scrambling.
Maybe do some roll-out plays this week.
Yeah,
and keep the tight end on that side, roll out a little bit extra, and maybe keep a running back and go that way.
Yeah.
And take care of all these loose. You keep the tight end on that side, keep a running back on that side. You're going to roll out to the right. He has an extra couple blockers.
Right.
And then if he has time, Russ, like everybody knows, if Brett Favre has time, he can beat anybody. Well, I guess we got to wrap. So PACKERS, thanks for watching, and tell everybody about it. 4-1 Green Bay Sunday, 3:30 we start or so, 3 o'clock. Okay, fine now.